Just keep going. Go, kid! All right! Fullmetal!
Kick his ass out! Go, Ed!
Fight Edward Elric!
Welcome back to Showdown, episode 2 on the Lookout Network, RNC Radio. What's going on? I got Eric King with me. What's up, E?
What's good, Jeffrey?
Yeah, man. You know, we back for episode 2, man. It's been a good time so far, man. Episode 1. Thank you everybody who listened to episode 1, where we have Netero versus the Ant King Miriam. We had a really good time doing that episode. Thank you for listening. Thank you for coming back. Classic battle. Thank you for coming back to listen to episode 2, where we're discussing something that is very important to you, Eric, because this is an anime that you put me on. And you were like, yo, this is the one, you know, it's very crazy.
It had, look, I say this is intro to any lover or to want to get into anime.
Yeah.
Because has to be, I personally would say this might be one of the greatest stories in modern history, in my opinion. And it's just written down so well, and then obviously we're going to talk about the final fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Today we have Edward versus Father, and that may make more sense to you as we discuss how we even got to this point, like we always do. But yeah, man, what you been watching lately, man? You been watching any new anime, or are you chilling? What's going on with you?
Whew, man, the quick synopsis of myself with anime. There's no stop to this.
I know, man. You'll be watching like 10, 20 things at once. Like, what the fuck are you doing, dude?
Hey, man. Look, man. It's in my heart. It's in my soul.
Yeah,
I've watched anime since I was at least 5 years old. To be honest,
I get it, man. I get it.
And,
I know. You told me.
You know, it's just been on. Well, right now I'm watching. I'm catching up on Black Clover.
Okay.
Fire Force, which is amazing.
Oh, so good, dude. That outro.
Oh, God.
I'll be telling everybody I know. Like, the song is called Veil. If anybody doesn't know, the outro to Fire Force is so good. I think it's like, well, the first half of the season.
Yeah, the first half. Yeah,
but it's such a good record, like, just overall. But yeah, Fire Force is an amazing anime. Right now, I'm knee deep in Frieza Saga right now with Millsy. So, you know, that's a good time. On Halloween on Adult Swim, you know, they did Promised Neverland marathon.
Yes.
I got through like 3 or 4 episodes and then I had to tap out.
But I had to watch my annual ritual is to watch everything vampire, like Vampire 100D and Hellsing Ultimate, which, oh my God, that's another one that could.
Yeah,
I don't even want to get into that right now. We can't even get to that one because that's just a whole nother beast right there. But
absolutely. Well, let's talk about this Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. Now, to me, correct me if I'm wrong, Eric. Fullmetal Alchemist has 2 anime adaptations.
Yes, it does.
Brotherhood is basically, you know, from what I've heard from other people, me personally as well, my personal opinion, the most accepted version is Brotherhood.
Yes, it is.
Yes or no? Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, it's the full story, the complete story, because the first Fullmetal Alchemist that first came out wasn't fully complete yet because the manga wasn't complete yet.
Right.
So by the time they did this was basically the ultimate version of the series.
Right.
So I agree. This is the better version from out of the 2. Both are really good, but this one knocks the first one out the park.
Gotcha.
All the way.
Incredible. So, wow. Okay. I mean, cool, man. That's really what I want people to know, because I've definitely had people ask me, you know, should I start watching Fullmetal Alchemist? And I'll be like, Brotherhood.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
correct them. And that's what you did to me. You were like, don't waste your time. Just watch Brotherhood. And that was like, that was some years ago, but you definitely hit me with the same thing. And I was like, okay, cool. And it's kind of like the Hunter x Hunter thing. Like, there's an older version of Hunter x Hunter that nobody ever talks about that I think only got up to like York New City.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, it's much grittier, kind of,
Yeah, actually, I think, to be honest, I think it was a little.
I'm not saying it was
darker.
bad, but
no, it wasn't, because I actually remember watching that, not knowing what Hunter x Hunter was at the time either, but it was still really good when at the original version is pretty good, I should say.
But Brotherhood is what we go to. So let's talk about Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood and what it really is, because that first episode is a lot.
Oh my!
So Eric, give us like a quick intro to what Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is and how we get to this point, and who is father.
So best way to start off is alchemy itself is a mind fuck of a concept as itself. You have to create something, you have to give something, which is already a cool concept in my opinion.
Most definitely. It raises the stakes immediately.
Exactly. So if you need to, let's say, make a cup, you have to give a certain whatever materials to make a cup. You at least have to give that level of energy to make the cup. Right. So in this show, the biggest taboo in alchemy is creating life out of nothing. So our two main protagonists in the show, Edward and Alphonse, try to bring their mother back to life. Obviously, that goes wrong.
It's disgusting.
It's so wrong. It's demonically wrong. It's very graphic. It's very graphic, very bloody, very very gory in the first couple of minutes of of an episode.
If it doesn't catch you,
immediately
in that first episode, then yes, like you're definitely going to. It's gonna freak you out a little bit.
Indeed,
If it doesn't get you hooked and you're not wanting to see more, then there may be something wrong with you as far as.
I don't know. I don't know what type of interest you had. What could interest you in such of a compelling first couple of minutes of a show? Yeah. I don't know what else.
Yeah, it's an amazing show. To me, obviously, to the general public who are into anime, it's considered one of the best.
Yes.
Period. It's period, like one of the top 3, maybe top 2.
Oh yeah, top 3.
Some people would say one of, if not the best, period ever.
Yeah.
So these two kids, man, their mother passes away. She was sick, no?
Yeah, she was.
She was sick. She passes away. And they basically are so committed and obsessed with bringing her back that they basically commit the taboo.
The greatest taboo, as they say.
And what happens? What happens while they're trying to? They end up forming all the ingredients to do this, and what happens?
So when the ritual is done, like I said, it's equal exchange.
Right.
So to make something, you have to give something. Edward loses his arm and his leg to basically a sacrifice to to do this ritual to bring his mother back to life. Sadly, Alphonse loses his entire body. Somehow, Edward learns, because of the skills that he learned of alchemy, he concealed his brother's soul into this metal behemoth of a armor, which is
so
bad.
It's so hard to describe. It's
it is. It's this badass armor supposedly that was left by his father or in family or something like that, and was able to conceal his brother's soul so his brother can stay alive.
Right.
Which is already insane to even think.
Empty shell now.
Empty shell. So this is like the best way of saying like actual ghost in the shell. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely,
like
absolutely. No pun.
It truly is. No pun at all. Like literally, this isn't like it's an actual ghost in a shell.
Mm-hmm. And as traumatic as that experience was for both of those kids, I don't remember how old they were, but for both of those kids,
they had to been at least like they had to have been like 10
They were very young. They were very young.
Yeah, like 10 to 8. Edward's the older brother, Alphonse is the younger brher.
And so as traumatic as it was, it just made them want to bring her back even more.
I know, man.
I mean, it's so crazy, man. And it is a really like, they do end up seeing some ghoulish creature that they
abomination of
it wasn't their mother. It wasn't their mother.
Not at all.
But it's absolutely like it's a terrifying scene. To me, if you want to, watch something that immediately the stakes are just super high and you get caught up in it emotionally, this is definitely that show. So let's fast forward a little bit, Eric. What happens as they kind of grow older and Edward kind of gets his situation adapted with some automail.
They both readjust themselves, and time passes. They learn more alchemy, try to figure out to get their main mission is to get their bodies back. They've already they understand and know that they can never bring their mother back. So it's just the main thing now is just to get his arms back and his little brother back, which anybody can truly understand that type of like, you need to this is the only thing that we have to do. We know we can't, at a certain point they realize there's no bringing our mother back, but we can at least work on getting my arm basically, going back to normal. Just making things back to normal,
getting your body back. And that's kind of how we get to this. And we will have to fast forward because this story is so in depth and it's so beautiful, and it is a lot. We're also here for a showdown, a fight that I don't know. A lot of people don't. You said it last week at the end of the Netero Miriam episode. It's not a fight that a lot of people talk about anymore.
Yeah.
Or in general, as far as like being something that was exciting, but because the show is very complex. And me and Eric are going to do our best to like run this down for you guys without, breaking it up and leaving your mind like all over the place. But it is extremely in depth, and there are some things that happen along the way that really pushes you to understand how deep this anime is.
Every episode counts.
Yeah, there are no
fillers. There are no fillers in this entire series. Every episode counts. And that's another one of the reasons why I love this show in general. There's no fillers.
So let's get into it. We're going to fast forward. We're going to get into it, and we're going to talk about who the hell Father is, how we got to this point, and how this fight starts and ends.
Father, God, good God. This guy, I think he might be top 2 worst fathers in anime history. Dog. Besides, there's already another character in this show that's literally number 1. That's the worst father.
Oh my God, we can't.
We're not gonna talk about that dude because that's he deserves to the lowest level of hell. That's what he deserves. He doesn't.
That is truly a whole podcast in itself. How awful and
awful.
Sad.
Yes.
That is, but outside of
fuck that dude. Fuck him. Fuck that dude. Forever fuck him.
We're not even gonna say his name. Eric, tell me about Father, man. Tell us
Okay.
about Father, man.
Father is a human clone, or what they call homunculus. It's basically what Al and Edward were trying to do, but complete. His whole goal is trying to become a human. He wants to be the perfect human.
Yep.
He doesn't want wants no weaknesses, wants all the protection, wants everything he wants needs to be precise, and he wants all the knowledge in the world so he can become the perfect being.
Listen, man, at a certain point, not to give anything away, but at a certain point, this guy absorbs God. Okay.
He
So
how selfish of a bastard do you have to be God? He's like, yo, look, man, God, nah, come here, B. I need you. You need to be in me. You need to be in me to become what I need to be. You understand? I need to absorb you, so I have the knowledge. So I have the knowledge of everything, so I can be perfect.
So
and
who is Father to Ed and Al?
The irony of all this,
because I know it's a bit confusing who Father is, and is he really their father?
The crazy part about this is that his name is Father. He looks exactly like their father. He's actually he's a clone of their father, but he isn't. He is this being, this ultimate being.
Does he have? He has like the the flask when he's inside the flask.
Yes. That's his original form.
His original form, right?
His original form. His original form is this dusty flask that was made from alchemy as itself. It's just being. That's the simplest way I can explain it. It's just being. So for a father to become father, he has to have a philosopher's stone. And I ain't talking about no Harry Potter shit. This is some real shit. This is some real shit. And like, so to make a philosopher's stone, I kind of have to spoil one little thing about this.
Okay, it's okay.
You got a little spoil.
We're here. Unfortunately, one of our ways to get through Showdown is spoiling. So bear with us.
Yeah, bear with us.
But in our respects, most people who are in anime and into anime have seen Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Yes. So for the newbies out there, this is a huge spoiler warnings, kind of. So bear with us. To make a philosopher's stone, you need human souls, and to create a being like Father, you need a lot of souls. He sacrificed the city of Xerxes from fucking legend. The entire country of Xerxes had to be, every soul in this country of Xerxes was sacrificed to be made of this being of Father. For him to be the more perfect person of himself, he felt like he doesn't need any of his emotions at all. So he takes away each one of these damn things, and they all become their own beings. With greed, envy, sloth, wrath, lust. Oh God, lust. God,
we can't even get there. I mean, they're so cool, and it's so in depth that we wish we had time. I mean, one of these days I might have to hit up Mills. Like, yo, we need to go ahead and run.
Oh, for sure.
It's so good and it's so in depth and it's so beautiful and sad, and it's such a great story. Like, Hollywood's gonna grab this at some point.
Oh man,
we'll see the Showdown like on the big screen, which as long as it's done right, I'm okay with it. But
same.
This is a huge anime, and yeah, it's just one of those things. So I definitely get it.
Yeah, it's just it's just so many characters, so many integral characters together. It's just amazing.
As we move towards to actually get into the final showdown between Edward versus Father, which is ultimately that's a full battle. You know, I mean, it's not just Edward per se versus father, but Edward really does. He's the MVP in this, in my opinion.
Like
it's just so sweet. So let's get to it, man. How did father reach his final point after absorbing God? Which is still crazy to say because
I know
it's so wild. And let's talk about the point to stopping father in the first place.
He absorbs all of his emotions back, which he considers his children too. All of his emotions back. And the last thing he has to absorb, the last emotion he has to absorb back is greed. Greed has been he's been the problem child. He was the bane to his Batman.
Right.
like he was Greed was Dennis the Menace, and he was Mr. Roberts to this to all this in general.
Shout out Greed, man.
Greed was the coldest.
Yeah, Greed was the
coldest. But for father to be complete, even though he absorbed God, he had to absorb greed. Greed was the last thing he needed to absorb. The entire army is behind Edward now, and the entire gang that has been this long journey. Colonel Mustang, which is a very important character in the show.
Shout out Mustang.
Shout out to Mustang. Armstrong, who's low key one of my favorite characters in that damn super OP. And Greed, who's also he kind
of switched over a little bit.
Yeah. He turned good because he's, like I said, he's the problem child.
He's like he's like an anti-hero type.
It's
hard to call him good, but yes.
Yeah, look, man, I got my own goals, bro. That's all that's what he kept saying. He's like, look, man, I want to take look. At the end of the day, I want to take over the world just like you, Dad. That's it. I want to do the same, but my way. You dig?
Right.
That's how he felt. At this time, Edward loses his arm, his automail, and there's nothing like his automail, which is basically his prosthetic arm, and it's completely shattered. The only way for him to get his arm back, oh man,
reliving it is like it's a lot.
Man, I'm trying not to cry now, man. Man, we all wish we had a little brother to be this selfless and so helpful for you, man. Alphonse sacrifices himself to give Edward his arm back so he can whoop father's ass. Whoop that ass to oblivion. To oblivion.
Now, at this point, like father, he goes to like his final form after absorbing God is a younger. It's basically a younger version
of the father of
their actual father. Yeah,
of their father. Hohenheim,
yeah,
which is also kind of von Hohenheim, which is also a dope ass name.
It is dope. Isn't it crazy how he still kept his voice? Like he still has like he has like the adult old voice, but he's like
he's like, yo, I'm stoic. I'm God. I do what the fuck I want. Right. I'm gonna sound. If I want to, like, I like this voice. I'm gonna keep this.
At this point, he's the perfect being.
Yes,
it's what he wants.
Exactly. Basically, he like now that he perfected himself. Exactly. A more younger, toned up version of their father, Hohenheim. Look, basically, he looks like an older brother of Edward. To be honest,
He really does. Yeah, absolutely.
This
man was sitting in a throne holding a miniature son.
He created a son because niggas tried him. He created a second niggas tried him.
Chill out.
Okay. Yo, he's like, look, he said, they were like, oh, you can't create anything. He said, watch this. Bah! It's a goddamn son. Like, tried them. So what you like? So what's next? What's next? What next are we gonna do? Because I made a son. I can make humans now. I can make other things. He creates other copies of the peoples of Xerxes just to fuck with Hohenheim, and then kills all of them.
Like
at the like obliterates them.
Wow, man. I feel like everyone's starting to definitely see like why they want this creature,
yeah,
person gone. Like
the only way I can say the foolery of this creature, just to prove
like
a point.
Very smug. Very. I mean, it's what you would expect someone who is evil and has the power of God.
If God was an antagonist, this is what God should be.
In this form, he has the ability to recreate bodies with the Philosopher's Stone. And as you mentioned before, greed kind of like being able to slow this form down because Father had reabsorbed greed, correct?
Yeah, exactly. Yes, he reabsorbs him. And that was the last thing that he needed, but didn't realize greed. But he didn't realize greed had cut that line between him becoming the ultimate being. Right. Greed was just like, look, I did everything I needed to do. Let me let me say my last goodbyes to all my homies. Mm-hmm. That's what Greed wanted. Greed just wanted homies. At the end of the day, by the time he gets inside of him, he cuts a line. His whole body turns to stone. It takes all levels of these other alchemists of other elements to try to fight him, but it still didn't do that much damage to him. Edward comes up, throws up, got the hand now, just like on some One Piece shit, throwing all the hand, all the bricks and hands at Father. Father rips so much skin out of his, like so many punches, like ripped skin off of him. It's insane. It's on the floor. He's questioning his whole being. He's like, how is this kid like whooping my ass? Yo, I'm God. The whole country's on my boy's back.
Dude, everyone's just like literally Edward is the punch, like where they're both like flying, like gliding into each other.
Yeah,
that right or that left, and it just, oh man, it just hits Father like dead in his fucking
straight haymakers. It's amazing. It was just
a confrontation between two individuals born from the same
man. That's fucking deep. That's goddamn deep.
Everything just comes out for Edward at that point, and everyone who's been fighting along his side is there, just watching it. Like, don't you just love how everyone kind of like pulls back and it's like, no, this is Edward's moment. Let's let him do this.
I love that. I love that so much because
there's so much energy in this episode. Like, it's hard to not get chills watching it because it is a very emotional show, and you really feel for the main protagonist, which is, I mean, Al. As much as I love Al, I do feel like Edward is he carries this entire story. And getting to this point to watch him pull through and basically take out Father with him, his hands, his body.
Yeah, his actual body. He was able to get his Al's sacrifice was able to bring back his body in full. He got his leg, he got his arm and his leg back because of Al.
And so I was emotional at this point watching this because I realized you have to understand the past 6 episodes has been about getting Al his body back for the most part. And oddly enough, the conclusion is Al sacrificing himself to get Edward's body back. Exactly. And that's just like
sad and heartwarming in the same time because that sacrifice meant everything for everybody knew how much how much these brothers love each other. And
Absolutely.
for Al to do that for him, and he's like, Al trusted such trust for one another. He says, I know my brother is gonna come and get me. I just need him to do I need him to do his job first before he comes and get me. He needs to go kill this father figure out of our lives.
Dude,
out of everybody's lives.
Man, Edward punched a freaking hole through this man's chest.
With all the it was amazing. Like for him to put all it took was one punch with all the might of him. He's like,
that was the remaining
like,
souls, right? It was whose soul was that? It was
Greed's soul.
It was Greed's soul. Okay.
It was Greed's soul that saved that did it. So the moment Greed sacrificed himself, all the souls that father has ever consumed, including the country of Xerxes, all comes out of him. It looks like a river of souls, a river of blood, but it's actually souls coming out of him. Mm-hmm. Nothing but rage and everything of all the anger souls inside of him.
God literally came out of his body.
Yes.
And father is absolutely terrified. Like, could you imagine? Like, this man got a hole punched to his chest, and then everything that he just absorbed came out of him. And like, oh, so remember what you just tried to do?
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna do the same thing to your ass, and we're gonna talk about this. At the end, God absorbs him and brings him to the illustrious door of knowledge, which is a whole nother. I wish I like I said,
the door of knowledge is like really strange shit. Like it kind of creeped me out actually, because I don't know. It's like a life death thing. Like, what's in that middle section of whatever, we don't know. Obviously,
it's basic. I feel like it's limbo, between limbo and and the door, and that
it
door
scared me a little bit.
Yeah.
It spooked me a little bit because it kind of makes sense.
It does. That's what blows my mind. It totally makes sense. Like it's. I know this is but it totally makes sense. All this stuff makes sense at the end of the day,
which makes the story so beautiful. So what happens to father? Because he does end up going back to his original form, which is
in the flask. Yes.
Yeah.
He's nothing but the dwarf in the flask, as they say. When he becomes in his original form, he meets God again. Asks God, why God? I did what you wanted to. All I wanted to do was be perfect. God was like, you're not perfect. There's no need to be perfect. You did everything you set yourself to become perfect is completely opposite of what you imagine yourself to be perfect.
Mm-hmm. Shit gets real here now.
So
like, it's getting deep.
You have basically, God was like, it don't have an inkling of what it is to be anything. For you to just know this, I am being, I am the earth, I am the universe, I am God. I have nothing but knowledge. You have yet to understand what it is to be what I am. Takes him and puts him inside the doors of the truth. And he still understands. I want to live. And the dwarf is screaming, no, I want to live. I want to understand. And has no time left, and the door closes.
That's it.
And
trapped in nothingness.
On some extra third eye shit. That's how I felt with this. Like,
he ended up getting really what he deserved.
Exactly what he deserves. He said, "You think that you were grown. You thought you were grown. You're still this little child. What you were from the beginning. You just wanted to put yourself away from this because you were afraid to to feel to know the fact that you're just like us. You're not better than these people. You're the same as them. You're exactly the same. You haven't changed at all. So what's the point of you even living if you haven't changed? Like,
exactly.
my God.
I mean, that's what
like,
they man. It's
oh
so
my
good.
God. It's such a good show.
It's so beautiful, and you know, it's really one of those things when this showdown is about Edward versus father, and we wanted to pinpoint that because again, the main importance of this series was, hey, we need to bring our mother back. Actually,
Yes.
that can never happen, so we need to at least get our bodies back. Then Al is like, at this point, no, you need to get your body back and save us, because I know you're gonna come back from me. And it just really, it's just full circle, and it's extremely beautiful. And Edward, at the end of the day, even though he had assistance from guys like Greed, everyone he came with as well, to make sure that the deed was done. They allowed Edward. They stood back and watched Edward just take it on and do these things and sock father in the face and put a hole through his chest.
Oh my God!
With his bare hands, no alchemy
at all.
No alchemy, and it was just it's just an extremely beautiful moment in anime. Period. And I think it's not talked about enough because it's not your Netero Miriam showdown per se, but the importance in the climax of the story is so large and in depth and like so meaningful that we absolutely had to cover it for episode 2 of Showdown. It was that important, and there are a lot of great things that happen afterwards. Like this anime ends so well because they actually let you have peace.
Yes. Like
it's rare.
There's not a lot of these animes out here that doesn't give you that happy ending.
It's hard to get
all
with some endings, and this is a very happy ending. And without me and Eric totally destroying the ending for you, if you haven't for whatever seen Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, you absolutely need to. But without us clipping everything, Al and Edward do get to eventually live their lives.
I gotta say something about this series.
Okay, sure, get it off.
Especially in this time of, it's so weird for me to even go to this part right now. So many things happen in this show, I think relates in this time, in this situation, in this time right now, in this crazy political time and all this, with all this that's going on in our country right now. But what I love about this series at the end of the day is all about unity.
It is.
It's completely all about unity. A lot of bad stuff has happened in this series that happened to a lot of people like us at the same time. And at the end of the day, they realize everything goes in full circle. And I feel like this is one of those series right now that I feel like if you feel like you don't understand what's going on with the world right now, in a weird way, I feel like this series is like the best way to it's a good kind of coping mechanism in the way things are right now.
That's a good message. I really like that. I really appreciate you said that, man. But yeah, man, thank you guys for listening to episode 2 of Showdown Lookout Network RNC Radio. I am Jeff. This is Eric. We had a good time, great time talking to you guys.
Eric Clapton.
Thank you for listening. Eric Clapton, not oh man. Next week, man, we got another episode for you guys. Episode 3 is coming up. We got Mob Psycho 100.
Ooh, good
Mob
Lord.
Psycho 100. We talking about
man. People, that was like, okay, people have been hitting me up. They're like, yo, when that mob coming out.
Yeah, Koyama versus Mob, man.
Next one,
episode 3.
It's coming, y'all.
It's going down. Thank you for listening to Showdown. We will talk to you guys next week. Be safe out here. Yeah.